Social Security is one of the most important retirement decisions you'll ever make. And for a lot of people, the big question is, should you start taking Social Security at age 62? I'm Cary Green. I'm a financial advisor and the co-founder of Green Era Financial, and I help people close to or in retirement to get the most out of life with their money. And today I'm breaking down the real pros and cons of taking Social Security at age 62. We're going to walk through the numbers, the risks, the benefits, a real-world example, and even a potential strategy where taking it early and investing it might actually work out better. So let's get into it. 62 is the earliest age you can start receiving Social Security retirement benefits. But starting early comes with a potential cost, and it's important you know it. If your full retirement age is 67 and you claim at 62, your benefit is permanently reduced by about 30%. So instead of receiving, say, $2,000 a month at full retirement age, you'd only get around $1,400 a month if you start at 62. But that reduced benefit lasts for the rest of your life. It could also impact your surviving spouse, especially if you're the higher earner. Now, that doesn't mean taking your benefit at 62 is the wrong move, but it's important to be clear on this from the start. So with that in mind, why do people claim at 62? Well, there are a few good reasons. First of all, you get the money sooner. If you need that income to pay the bills and you don't have other reliable sources, claiming at 62 might be your best option. This is very common. Or if you have health issues or a shorter life expectancy, claiming early could actually result in more total lifetime income than waiting until your full retirement age or some other time. Some people feel peace of mind by claiming early. It gives them flexibility and helps them feel like they're getting something back from the system they've paid into their entire life. And sometimes people take Social Security early to let other assets keep growing, like an IRA or investment account, so they can delay tapping those for a few more years, another very common strategy. Now, on top of that, a lesser known strategy is to claim Social Security at 62 and invest it, rather than using it for living expenses. If you have other sources of income like part-time work or portfolio withdrawals or rental income, you could take the benefit and invest it in a diversified portfolio, and over time those funds could potentially grow enough to match or even exceed what you would have gotten by delaying benefits until later. But this is highly dependent on market returns and your ability to stay invested. Now let's talk about the downsides, because they're very real. The biggest con is that lower monthly benefit. The smaller check might not feel like much at first, but over 20 or 30 years, it really adds up. If you live a long life into your 80s or 90s, you could end up leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table by filing for your benefits earlier. There's also the break-even point. If you wait until your full retirement age or even age 70, you'll get much more per month. So if you live into your late 70s or early 80s, you'll likely end up with a little bit more total lifetime income by waiting until those times. Also, if you're still working and you earn more than a certain amount, your Social Security could also be temporarily reduced due to something called the earnings test. And finally, claiming early can reduce the survivor benefit your spouse receives if you pass away first. That could impact their financial stability later on, which is something I've covered extensively on this platform. So let's say you're considering, should I file for Social Security at 62 or some other time? How do you make the right decision for you? Well, first, you'll want to think about your health and your family's longevity. If most people in your family live into their 90s, that's a good reason to consider waiting. You'll also want to think about your income needs. If you need the money now to cover basic living expenses, that might push you toward claiming earlier, which is, of course, quite obvious. Also, do you have other retirement savings or income? If you do, maybe you can afford to wait. If not, it might make sense to claim now. On top of that, one thing to consider is, are you married? If so, you need to factor in spousal benefits and survivor benefits, especially if you are the higher earner. And don't forget about taxes. Depending on what other income you have, adding Social Security can change your tax picture completely, and that's something to plan around and educate yourself on. So the bottom line is this: it's not just about the math, it's about your entire retirement strategy and your full financial picture. So let me give you a real-world example, because this helps. Mark is 62. If he claims Social Security now, he'll get $1,500 a month. If he waits until full retirement age at 67, he'll get $2,100 a month. So if Mark claims now, he'll get $18,000 a year. If he lives to age 80, that adds up to $324,000 in total benefits. But if he waits until age 67 and gets $25,200 a year instead, he'll break even around age 77. And if he lives longer than that, say into his late 80s or beyond, waiting could mean over $100,000 more in lifetime benefits. But let's say Mark doesn't need the $1,500 a month right now. He's working part-time and covering his bills, so instead he invests the entire benefit, $18,000 a year, for 5 years in a balanced portfolio, earning, say, 6% annually. By the time he turns 67, that Social Security money could have grown to roughly $105,000. And if he leaves it invested, it could continue to grow, even while he starts his higher benefit at age 67. This strategy won't always beat delaying, but in the right situation with market growth and other income sources, it can be a powerful option, and it's rarely talked about. So, should you take Social Security at 62? For some people, yes, it's absolutely the right call. But for others, waiting just a few years could mean thousands or even hundreds of thousands more over the course of their retirement. And in some cases, there's even a hybrid option. Take it early, invest it, and use it as part of the bigger plan. So this is one of those decisions where the right answer really depends on you, your health, your income, your goals, and your flexibility. So, if you want help running the numbers and figuring out the best strategy for your situation, you can always feel free to visit us at greenarrowfinancial.com or reach out to me directly anytime. I'm always happy to help if I can. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.